Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Gamechat Podcast number 8. I have it written down. I want to welcome back two guests. Didge, what's going on, Didge?
What is happening, people? This is a good showcase today, so
It
I'm ready to
was, it
talk that.
was. And Joelle. Welcome back, Joelle.
What's up? What's up? Can't wait.
Yeah. So before we get into the PlayStation Showcase, which at the time of recording it aired today, I did want to go through real quick some rumors that I've heard. Some that just it makes me sad because I'm like, why can't this be real? At least it could be real, but I don't know. Anyway, so Resident Evil 9 Apocalypse, as apparently a working title, is rumored to be in development, and it's supposed to star Chris, Claire, and Jill, which is pretty interesting because I feel like you only really see Jill in like Resident Evil 3 and Resident Evil 5, but like you fight
Oh
Jill in
yeah, I
that, so
forgot
she's
about
not playable. So I would
one,
definitely
three,
be
and five.
yeah. So I would definitely be interested to see more of her. And of course, I don't Chris is like I don't even know what's going on with him at this point in the series. So I definitely, if we could get some clarification or backstory or something as to what's going on with him, that'd be cool. And then Claire, I don't even know if you see her outside of 2. So I don't
Three and
know.
Code Veronica.
Oh, okay. I've never played that one, but I've heard good things. So that's
Me
another
too.
one that people are saying they hope Capcom will remaster. But
I could see that.
would you guys be interested in a Resident Evil 9 Apocalypse, Joel?
Yeah, I would be interested. Now, look, that's a series I have not really gotten into. Like my cousin really loves it, and that's the only reason I even know so much about it. He started with two though, but he played
Mm,
two, three, and four. He's become a big fan, but he kind of fell off at when it became more of an action game, which was like what five, six, I
five,
guess.
yeah, 5 and
Yeah.
6.
So that's where he kind of fell off, and that's when Chris was more of a took center stage,
Mm-hmm.
which is fine because I like
Punching
Chris as a
boulders.
character. Yeah, yeah, it was weird, but and I want to play them, I really do, because especially the remasters, like two, three, four. Obviously, I've heard really good things, and seven and eight look great, and so I wonder if nine is real. Will it be first person, or else, because that was the trend. That's where they were going for a while with like
Yeah.
eight and nine. So I'm like, all right, so are we gonna? We'll see. I'm down. I'm down if they want to do it because I do like those characters now in that world. And I plan on getting to eventually. So take their time, but yeah, I'm down.
Yeah, that's a good question as far as like will it be first person? Because I know for Resident Evil 8 you played as Ethan, and the whole entire game was first person, and then they ended up adding like an update where you could play third person, and then I think the DLC with his daughter Rose was in third person. So I
Yes,
don't know.
that
It
looks
seems
cool
like
too.
yeah. It seems like they haven't settled on whether they want to change the perspective or whether we're just going down that route because of Ethan, or they were trying to get like a more scary vibe to it. But I guess we'll see. Apocalypse, it could potentially be scary, but I could also see it maybe being a little bit goofy. I don't know. If you put Chris back on the stage, who knows what's gonna happen. But what do you think, Didge? Do you play the Resident Evil games?
I do. I still have to play eight, but I've played every single one up until that one. There's just always it always just seems like there's something new to come out that I'm just like, oh yeah, I'll get to Resident Evil after it. But I'd be interested. It's a really good series. I always have a good time with it. I did like the move to first person because to your point, I think it does make it a little bit more scary.
Mm-hmm.
Like the jump scares hit a little bit more when they're right in front when it's literally just in front of you.
Right.
So but I can end up doing maybe a choice. That's something I think that would work well. That way you sort of appease both crowds.
Right.
Like that.
And if you do choose for one to come late, maybe make the third person one come late. I don't care about that one. But no, I'd be interested in seeing the game. I it would obviously depend on what's around it. There's always so much coming out and everything, but just from a surface level of Resident Evil 9, I'm intrigued.
Yeah, yeah. I'm definitely with you. It's like it seems like the game industry has like mostly recovered from like everything that happened with the pandemic and supply chain issues and all of that. So it's starting to pick back up on the pace. So yeah, I don't know. Pray for our wallets. Pray for our wallets. But then we also have something that I guess it's not technically free. It depends on the platform. But there's a rumor that there is a Sekiro and a Ghost of Tsushima anime in development. Um, I I feel like Sekiro, I would definitely love to see. Ghost of Tsushima, I don't know. Because just the way that like you explore that world, like I feel like it would be the same thing or similar to like making an anime for Breath of the Wild. Especially well, the story elements aside, they would definitely have to flesh that out. But it's just like the charm for me of Ghost of Tsushima and Breath of the Wild is being able to explore that world and like immerse yourself in like the environment and like learn the people, and also there's a cultural aspect to it as well. So I wouldn't be against it, but I'm like I don't know if it will hit the same. But what about you, Didge? Interested in a Sekiro or Ghost of Tsushima anime?
Oh, I would because I never played the game, so
Either
it
one?
would no Sekiro. Sorry, just
Oh, okay.
Ghost. Oh, I've played many a times. I might go replay that sometime this summer. You never
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
I'm less interested in that for an anime. One because I've played the game and I agree with you. I don't know how well it'll translate to an anime because so much of it is built around exploring and
Mhm.
doing all of the side stuff and just basically being immersed in the world. And the other thing is, I thought there was a movie coming. I don't know if I
True.
There is.
necessarily need a
Yeah.
There is.
movie and an anime. Um, because then you're just sort of flooding the world trying to tell this exact same story over and over. If
Maybe
you
it'll be
want more
like
Ghost,
a spin-off or something on one of the
maybe
other characters that Jin interacts with. That could be something, maybe. Then I would be more comfortable with the anime, honestly, if that were the case, because that's like something I've never touched before. In
that's
the
fair.
Ghost of
Yeah, if
Tsushima
it's
realm.
something like that,
Hmm.
I'd be more interested. But if it's just telling the same thing, just work on Ghost of Tsushima too. Then, like, give me a follow up. Then,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We need that. We need that. What about you,
right?
Joel?
Oh, all right. So let's start with Ghost. Obvious reasons obvious for me. So
God, that you hate that game.
Oh, you do? Oh no.
um, start with Ghost. We're just gonna start there.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if I need an anime of Ghost because I'd prefer to see that in live action.
Hmm.
Um, though I would be against it. If they want to give me an anime, I'm not gonna say no. you know.
Fair.
But I mean, knowing what I know about it, and I know all of it because I played it all, except for the DLC. I didn't do that, but um, I kind of I don't really like if I had to pick between the two. I guess I would say Sekiro because that definitely looks like it could be an anime if done correctly,
Hmm.
because there's way more fantastical things going on in Sekiro. It
True.
is to me a game that definitely fits that narrative way better. Would fit that world, or at least that style of animation better. Um, and Sekiro is one of the most difficult games I ever played in my entire life. And fuck that game. Yeah, the game itself, the anime might be good. I don't know about the game. If that game is, yeah. So it's just
So,
that game is.
is it the just the struggle that you had with the game that makes you hate it?
Yeah, it's a struggle.
Okay,
It's a beautiful game. It's a beautiful game. Like it looks good. It plays well, but it's ridiculous.
that's
It's
what I hear from
unfair.
everybody who
It's
says fuck that game.
unfair. It's unfair is what it is, and I don't I won't stand for it. I just won't. And it won't, it's no. It's like why make it so hard? And like you can't make it easy. There's no easier. I never put a game to make it easier, but I really considered it, and but I didn't even give you the option. I'm like no, it's just like survive. It's good luck. It's basically one of those things. It's whatever.
He's getting worked up again. Change the subject. Change it.
Well,
Well,
moving on to something that I know me and Didge have talked about in the past, there is a rumor once again, I can't even put any. See, you shake your hands, but I'm like, no. You know what? Until Atlas says something, I don't want to hear Persona nothing. But apparently, Persona 6 is going to be coming out in late 2024, and there will be a P3 remake in late 2023, which is this year. And then I'm also hearing that there's supposed to be a Persona 5 spin-off in 2024. And I'm like, please leave this game alone. How much more content do you need for Persona 5? Like, it's ridiculous. And I love Persona 5, but I'm like, you're running it into the ground. Oh my gosh.
It came out, what, 2015, 2016 for Persona 5. Oh, they're getting Rockstar levels.
Persona 5. I don't even know if it was that long. Release date, or at least the original game. No, it was 2016. Yeah, and then P5
2016.
Came out,
yes,
2 or 3 years ago, I think.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
See, but it's like, so you did Persona 5, then you did Persona 5 Royal, which is pretty much the base game plus maybe another 20 hours or so, which is significant. You get another semester. But you know that is
Didn't they
Persona
have the
5.
dancing game too?
Okay. If we're gonna count the dancing games, yeah, we also have Persona 5 Dancing All Night. We have Persona 5 Strikers or Scramble, depending on where you are, which was a good game. I did like it, and I liked how it built on the characters. But after all of this, you know, I'm ready to meet a new set of characters. Like, you know, this is not what the Persona series is. Like, we move on, you know, that each
Strikers
Persona
was great though.
Strikers was great
It took Dynasty Warriors element.
yeah, and I was kind of surprised, because I'm like, I'm usually not big or at least, well, actually no, I can't even say that. When I first was introduced to Dynasty Warriors games, I was like, oh, why would anybody play this? This is kind of weird. But now I do like them because of Strikers and because of Age of Calamity.
I was that person. Dynasty Warriors. Oh, 5 is out. 5 Empires.
Yeah.
All right,
yeah. But man, I want like a teaser, a trailer, some confirmation, like a freaking social media post, something that says we are not touching Persona 5 anymore. We're working out Persona 6. That's
just
what
give
I
me
do.
like the P6 logo. Just throw that out there.
Even the logo would be enough for me to be happy, you know. At this point, it's like, it's not even the fact that, like, oh, we didn't even talk about how many freaking collaborations they did outside of Smash. Smash, I was really happy about. And then they did like gacha game after gacha game into a freaking pachinko machine, into like some other freaking anime games, whatever. I'm like, listen, I get it. Get your bag, make your money, but just know you're running this series into the ground with this. So and like back to my point. The reason why this is like just starting to get on my nerves is because Atlas had like this big celebration to celebrate. Was it Persona 5's anniversary, or was it just Persona in general? It might have just been Persona in general. They were celebrating the anniversary. And at the end of it, I was like, okay, we gotta get a Persona 6 announcement. And they were really hyping it up like it was gonna be really great. They didn't say Persona 6 was included, but they're like, yeah, this is gonna be the best celebration ever. We're gonna do all these events, blah, blah, blah. Several wallpapers and stickers later, I'm like, what the hell? Where is the things? They did bring 3, 4, and 5 to all consoles, which is great. That's something I wanted. But the way that they hyped this up, I thought we were gonna get so much more. So, I don't know. I just like, I'm still an Atlas fan. Atlas, if you watch this, I don't hate y'all. I just think y'all should leave Persona 5 alone at this point. Just leave it alone. It's fine. Okay? You made your money. Put that into something else. And they have another project that they have not even talked about in the works. So, I don't know. That was my Persona rant.
I like it.
On to the news of the day, which was the PlayStation Showcase. I asked before the show how everybody was feeling about the showcase, because it seems like online everybody had kind of like middling thoughts about it. Like, oh, showcase didn't really live up to my expectations, but wasn't horrible or anything. And Jeff Keighley always sends out the tweet that's like, okay, rate this presentation. And I was seeing there was like a high percentage of B's and a high percentage of C's. Which I mean, it could be much worse. It could be much worse. I feel like the presentation, as far as like the reputation of PlayStation showcases goes, this is definitely the weakest one. It's definitely the weakest one. But that being said, they did have like the showcases before this one were super super great. So to say that this is the weakest one, it's still good. It's still good. I still enjoy my time, and I definitely think like I have some new games to look out for. But what do you guys think? Was this showcase, did it live up to your expectations, or were you a little bit disappointed? And I'll start with you, Joel.
Uh, I think overall, I mean, it's hard for me to judge because like I thought when the highs were high, they were really good, and when they were low, they were kind of low. So it's kind of like middling was a good way to put it. Like the whole first part of the presentation was kind of boring, so I was like, oh, man, you're kind of swinging and missing here for a little bit. And then they sprung like Metal Gear at me, and I'm like, oh, finally something I kind of knew was coming, but I wasn't sure because they always talk like something's gonna show up and nothing ever happens.
Right.
That was great. That was a great surprise. Like we were talking about earlier, what was it called? Phantom Blade Zero, I think it was called.
Right. Yeah.
That stood out to me. That was one of the earlier shows that stood out to me. That looked really good. I look forward to that. But all the other ones, like early on, were not that high. And a lot of the other trailers that I did like Final Fantasy 16 was a really good trailer, but I don't want to see anymore.
Right.
It's almost
Yeah.
coming out. I'm good. I don't want to see it anymore. Stop showing me. I want to play it. And the same thing with Street Fighter 6. Like I get it. I'm really sold. I don't really need to see more Street Fighter 6. I want it. I'm good. But like that, those two stood out. Metal Gear, obviously, that stood out. But again, and then of course Spider-Man 2. And look, for all the shit we can talk about, that it ended on a really high note for me. So Spider-Man 2 made like 12 minutes of footage. I was like,
yeah.
sold,
Yeah.
sold. So overall, maybe it wasn't the best, but it definitely went out on a high note.
Yeah. What about you? Did you feel the same way?
A little bit more positive than Joel.
However,
Honestly, the main part that I think I didn't like the most was the VR stuff because I don't see myself really getting the VR.
same. That
See, but I feel
Yeah.
like
Oh,
for
the Resident Evil 4 one
PlayStation,
looked cool.
the one that I liked was the Arizona Sunshine 2 or whatever. That looks like so much fun. It's so
I thought
random.
that was Dead Island. I'm like, they're doing a VR.
It did look cool, but I just knowing in the back of my head that it was like, oh, this is all VR stuff. I don't
Yeah.
care that much.
Right.
Yeah, but they needed to do it because like as far
Yeah.
as like what PSVR's 2 is doing right now, like it launched and a lot of people or most people really like the tech, but there's just like no software behind it. So they
Right.
desperately needed to have some games out there, and now I feel like I'm not sure how many of those are actually going to be available within like the next couple months or so, but at least it's something that like people can keep their eye on. But outside of
Yeah.
VR, was there anything else that you thought it was like, oh, I didn't really need this, or oh, I really like this?
Yeah, so like I said, the Ghost Runner trailer almost got me until they said the name because I didn't really like the first one.
Ah, yeah.
But that Neva game, like that looked really cool. Squire I thought looked cool, and what was the other one? Ultros. All of those, they're sort of were like those weird art styles. They seem like they would be something that all seem really fun to play with. So like, I thought all three of those are stuff that I'm obviously gonna get. Then you obviously got your heavy hitters of the Metal Gears, the Final Fantasies, the Spider-Mans. But why I said I think I'm a little bit more positive is some of these more smaller games that Joel just sort of, I'm not saying that he just hates them, but he sort of glossed over. I looked
He
at him like,
hates
oh, this
indie
looks
devs. I think I heard
Right.
that.
That's what it sounded like.
Look,
Not
let's be real.
AAA or nothing.
That's
so,
why
you know,
people are complaining. Because they're like, what are these games? That's why.
yeah, oh, for sure. But like for me, a lot of those look really fun. Like those are probably going to be those 29, 39 games where you're gonna be able to get a lot of good gameplay out of it, and
Mm,
they're probably gonna be one player. So I can also see that taking it away from some people because they're like, well, I can't be online doing this, and it's like, or you can just. This is a game that I can really chill and play,
yeah.
and that's where I was. That's what I was excited about with them.
Yeah. I definitely I don't think we'll have time to go through this whole list because there's actually they announced a
No,
lot of stuff or at least talked about a lot of stuff. When I was going through the list, I'm like, oh, this will take me a minute, and like 30 minutes later, I'm like, okay, finally done. um, but I'll just go through the highlights. I'll try to talk about things that uh games that people haven't mentioned yet. So, Sword of the Sea for me looked pretty
Oh,
interesting, which
that
was
looked cool.
made. Yeah, so that was made by Giant Squid, which were also part of like the devs that created Journey. So that game from, uh, I don't know when it came out actually, but it came out quite a while ago, and it definitely has like kind of a similar aesthetic. So I don't know. I really enjoyed Journey, and I was really like lucky that I didn't know much about the game going into it. So for those who haven't played Journey yet, don't look up anything. Just play the game. It's great. It's great. It's like maybe 2 or 3 hours at most, but it's a really cool experience. So I was really lucky that I had that, and just seeing that like the Journey devs are kind of going back to their roots a little bit because I saw like they kind of deviated with I can't remember what the game was, but it was kind of like almost creating like a space in the metaverse where like artists will perform and stuff like that in that game. Which I wasn't so much into, and I'm like glad they're still doing stuff, but now I'm glad to see that they're like kind of going back to their roots with this one. I thought it was interesting. Something that I'm not interested in, but I was definitely like, what is going on with this trailer? Is Foam Stars, which pretty much look like Square Enix's version of Splatoon. This is a Square Enix developed game where it's a 4v4 shooter, and they're just like shooting out like bubbles and stuff. And I don't know, I just don't understand like what's going on because it seems kind of similar to Splatoon's like Turf War, where you try to
Oh
cover
yeah.
the area with as much of like your color as possible, but then like at the same time it didn't seem like that was taken into consideration with like the way that the game was like operating. I don't know. I'm kind of curious to know more. I definitely don't think I'll be playing it, but I am kind of curious to know a little bit more about it because I'm just like, were they trying to rip Splatoon with this, or what is going on? I just want to know more about that. Let's see what else here on the list. Of course, Metal Gear Solid 3 remake. I'm excited for that. Um, Arizona Sunshine 2, we mentioned that. I do not have a PSVR 2. Do not plan on getting a PSVR 2. But out of all the VR games, I'm like, this one looks the most interesting to me. Um, Revenant Hill. I forgot to highlight this one. Let me highlight it real quick in the doc. But Revenant Hill is made by the Glory Society, which is known for making Night in the Woods, which is a really cool indie game that's won a bunch of awards, has a great story. I think also has a great kind of like artistic style and art direction to it. And I'm glad to see they kind of retain that for Remnant Hill. So far, we just got the announcement trailer for it, but I don't think they had like barely any dialogues or like words to go with it. Just like this cat going through this really big town, or even like it seemed like multiple environments almost. So I'm
I
curious to
got the
see.
vibe that you play as the cat.
I I don't see. I think the cat was like a nod to Night in the Woods, because Night in the Woods you play as a cat. Like the main character is a cat, and like all the animals in the, are all the people in the town
Okay,
are animals. So with this game, there actually are like normal humans. So I think you play as a human. There might be cat gameplay though. I'm not sure. I just want to know more about this, since Night in the Woods was like such a fantastic game. And like you sold me once you told me it was the Glory Society. You sold me. Another one that I'm interested, but also I don't know. Conflicted might not be the right word, but I'm gonna use conflicted. Assassin's Creed Mirage. I'm just glad that it's honestly still in development and still alive, because like since that announcement trailer, I don't think we've heard anything from Ubisoft, except for I think Assassin's Creed Mirage I heard this might be a rumor. I'll put a subtitle in the video somewhere, but I heard that it's no longer going to be a standalone game and it's going to be a part of Assassin's Creed Infinity now, which I feel like would be an
Oh,
odd
really?
move. Yeah, that's what I heard. I'll have to double check that. Um, but regardless, just looking at Mirage and seeing that it's actually alive and well, and going back to the roots of like really getting into stealth and not having so many like RPG elements, I was really happy to see. Even though I'm not the best at stealth, but I really enjoyed my time in Assassin's
Love stuff.
Creed 3 and Assassin's Creed Black Flag, and like I don't know, I
The
like
first four were
the. Oh, what are you saying, Joel?
I said the first four I really loved,
Yeah, yeah,
which
yeah.
is
I
yeah,
haven't
those are the ones
played
I'm
any
talking
of Ezio's games yet, so that's something I
Oh,
gotta get
those are
back to.
great.
about. Oh, those are
Yeah,
great too.
yeah, yeah. I watched somebody play them like years and years and years ago, and I was like 10 or 11 or something on YouTube,
Yeah.
and
I
finally bought the game. So that is something that's on my list for sure. So I'm glad to see a return to that kind of gameplay. But as far as
It's too
like
much like one, in my opinion. My
too
only
much
issue
like
with
one,
Mirage,
okay.
it looks too much. I mean, maybe for people that never played one, it's a great
Hmm.
reintroduction to the whole series. But it reminds me too much of one, where it doesn't look all that different. Like it is different because like it doesn't look exactly like one, but it looks
Hmm.
a lot like it. So
Oh,
I
it's
don't know. Just
interesting
for
you
me.
said that because I was actually gonna say while I was streaming it, somebody in my chat was saying like this Assassin's Creed looks the same. And I was like, what do you mean, like the same as the previous game, or what are you talking about? He's like, no, just the same as all of them. I'm like, oh, okay. And I do agree
It
that
very
like,
much gives you the vibe of one.
A
yeah,
lot.
it's
Same. I think
just
it's the same similar time period. That's why too.
yeah, it's missing something that like will give it.
Originality. No, I'm
It,
kidding.
kind of sort of honestly just like because I feel like every Assassin's Creed game for the most part has a unique identity, and part of that is
Yes.
tied to like the location. And so
Yes.
one kind of going back to it, or not one, Mirage kind of going back to a similar area as one is something where I'm like, I kind of hope that they branch out in the environment at some point,
Yeah.
because that's
Yeah.
another part. Another thing about Assassin's Creed that's really attractive to me is just like being able to explore these different parts of the world, like within these different historical
Yeah.
periods.
I love
Um,
that. Yeah.
but we also got a release date for it. That one is coming out October 12th. There's quite a few games that are coming out that week of October, interestingly enough, from this
Yeah.
showcase.
Much. It's too
So
much.
yeah, yeah. We also got to see Bungie's new project, Marathon, which is a PvP extraction game. Not quite sure what that means, but my guesstimate is kill people and get out with the money slash treasure. So we'll have to wait to see more of that. I believe they're going to do a showcase in October or something, where they're going to talk about Destiny, and they're also going to talk about Marathon in that showcase as well. So it might be a little while before we hear anything about Marathon. And then my last thing, as like a highlight or really a low light in my opinion, is the fact that Project Q is real. The little tablet thing, the screen, like the PS5 companion is real, and I don't understand why they're doing this. Well, I do understand why, but at the same time, I don't. I don't. I don't like the idea of Project Q. But for those who aren't familiar with this, basically last podcast we talked about this device, which is basically a remote play device that you can use to play games that are installed on your PS5. And we actually have a quote from Jim Ryan. He said, "We will launch a dedicated device that enables you to stream any game from your PS5 console using remote play over Wi-Fi." And he continues saying, internally known as Project Q, it is an 8-inch HD screen and all the buttons and features of the DualSense wireless controller. And I don't know. I would I would support this more if it was like a full-fledged mobile console where you could actually like use cartridges or like this like they did for the PSP or something like that, instead of it just being like pretty much cloud streaming only. But I don't know. I guess we'll see how this does in the market. Um, But was there anything that I didn't mention that you wanted to talk about from the showcase today?
Uh, think really, except for the ridiculousness of PlayStation to sell earpods. What was that about?
I
What?
I honestly accept the earpods more than Project Q. I like,
Really?
gamers, they need
I
their
was gonna
things.
say I'd rather have that honestly.
Yeah.
Ah,
I won't be
Project Q,
buying
I
them, but
think
I
is.
get it.
I thought that was more ridiculous than the Project Q because everybody's trying to get into the mobile cloud gaming type space.
Yeah.
I do think it's like dead on arrival not having any native storage, like especially because you know it's not gonna be $200 or $300. So that
Yeah.
backbone system that's gonna already take out from the low end, and then when you get to the higher end cost, what's gonna make somebody say they want to play this over a Steam Deck
Right.
or the what is I forgot what the new Asus
The
system.
Asus ROG? Rogue?
Yeah,
Something.
The time.
Rogue
Ally
Ally for
Rogue? Yeah.
yeah. So like somebody who's willing to pay more isn't gonna want to necessarily stream their games when, like I said, the Steam Deck or the Ally can both run stuff natively on it, and then somebody who's just like, I want to play my PlayStation games. Well, I got the backbone that's $100, and these phones nowadays are all very powerful. I
Mm-hmm.
can use that.
All right. More powerful than the Switch. So.
Right.
It's crazy.
What about you, Joel? Anything from the showcase that we haven't talked about already that you wanted to go over?
Well, to speak on the Project Q, the
Mm.
only reason I'm not going to speak about it is because I don't really care about like handheld games anymore. Yeah, I have a Switch and I never take it off its damn dock.
True.
Ever. I think I've taken it off like literally a handful of times. That's how many times I've done. I like if I'm gonna play games at this point, I need my big screen.
Right. Yeah.
Unless it's a like an RP like old school uh, turn-based RPG, I'm not playing anything that I need to use my actual thumbs. You know what I mean? Especially
Right.
on a flat control, I can't do that shit. So it's not really my thing, but so that's why I'm not really talking about that. The earphones to me were a little cooler because like I was talking about that because I want like I would love to like hook up my AirPods to my PlayStation. And obviously they don't let you, so I'm like, this is why they're releasing it because people want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So why not get
Their
their own version
headphones.
of AirPods that actually legally can do it? You know what I
All
mean?
right. Yeah.
Fly over the ears.
See, that's
Yeah.
what I have like a what are they? The oh my gosh.
And the ones
Arctic
those big ones that
series
everyone wears, like
headphones?
those, right?
Yeah, but you can like plug it into the controller. At the time I didn't have a wireless controller,
Get
so I was just
these.
fully tied up.
Get these.
Right. I don't
Are they
have any
wireless?
wireless headphones. I need to get
Oh no,
some.
these aren't. This isn't wireless. No,
Uh oh, they
my
look
job.
wireless on
Actually,
my
I'm
thing.
supposed to use them.
Mm.
No,
I
no,
just
they're wired.
my
My
Uh,
ears
job
get
bought
hot.
it for me.
I get sweaty. I don't
That's
like it.
fair. That's fair. I'll give you that. My ears.
I'm
Sometimes when we're playing the game late, it does.
Yeah.
I do have to go
I
like this
hate
for a
it.
while.
I hate them. And then you take them off, and your ears are sore as fuck. You're like, ah.
Yeah.
So that's fair. That is fair. I'll give you that. You got
You've
me
been playing for
there.
hours. I'm like, nah, this hurts, bro.
Mhm. That is true. Um, but yeah, you said you wanted to skip Project Q. What did you what did you want to talk about?
Who, me or the Trayvon?
You Joel. You were saying like
Oh no,
you
Project Q number for me. That's all.
yeah.
I just,
Oh, okay, okay. Well, I know Trayvon, first of all, welcome to the podcast. I know we were discussing Project Q a little bit in the group chat. So I'll just, you said you had some thoughts, but you would save it for the podcast. So I'm curious as to, what those were.
For Project Q, I don't really see I guess the point of
Mm,
it.
mm.
Um, Considering it doesn't do anything different than the remote play that you already have on your Android or your iPhone devices already.
Right.
I was like,
It does.
well, what you supposed to say?
I just looked at. I wanted to bring it. That was a perfect point. I knew you were going to bring that part up. It does less. You have to be on Wi-Fi for this. Whereas if you have the Remote Play app, technically they say any internet connection that's good enough. So if your 5G is good enough, you can do it. This
So I
said
guess
specifically Wi-Fi.
so. Because I'm thinking like. Because I was thinking that was how just like remote play worked in general until I read the PlayStation thing. They're like technically just having a connection, like you could do remote play. And I'm like, okay, that makes more sense. So with Project Q, could you not just like turn on a hotspot or something and like have that work? Because if so, like you always have your phone on you,
Technically, yeah.
and more times than
You
not,
could use your phone's
Yeah.
It'll still
hotspot.
be Wi-Fi for the device.
Yeah.
Or, it just
But
has
I
to be
us-
strong to handle it.
right. I usually don't like
Yeah,
doing that
right.
though, because then I'm draining my phone, and I'm like, if I'm out
Right.
somewhere, I don't want my phone to just like die because I'm playing a game or something. Like I don't know, I would just take a Switch at that point.
And that'll kill it.
Yeah.
If you do that.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. It's definitely not a Switch competitor. I don't think Nintendo should be shaking in their boot.
Nah.
I don't think anybody should be. I don't think Asus should be. I don't think Steam should be.
Mm-mm. No.
Maybe
they
the
do
bare
that.
bone, maybe the bare bones people, maybe they should be.
Well, they're the ones that they're selling it. Sony's the one selling that thing. So it's like, aren't they? So it's like, I don't know. I was like, and they just put out the Android one. So
I
was
saw
like,
that.
So you literally just put out the Android one. Now you talking about this thing? It didn't make any sense. I was like, okay.
Or was it Backbone? I think. Whatever.
Yeah, they just put out the Android version. Like literally like a day ago or something.
Mm-hmm. And that's 100. You're not selling this Project Q for.
Right.
You're not selling it that cheap.
No.
No.
Yeah.
I don't know who it's for.
Yeah, I'm with you there, Trayvon. I don't know who they're aiming this at either. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I could see it, like I was saying earlier, like it would be a much easier sell for me if you said like you can buy cartridges or even like, you know, anything that's in your PlayStation library, you can download it to this device, and then once you get a connection, it'll do like a cloud save so you can pick up where you left off. Like I feel like that would make more sense than just you always have to have a connection to play. Otherwise, you just have this brick in your hand. Like I don't know. We'll see. Like I'm very much so looking forward to Digital Foundry is like a gaming platform that I listen to pretty frequently, and they talk a lot about different tech and stuff like that. So once they get their hands on it, if they don't rip it apart, I'm curious to hear what they have to say.
From the picture, it literally looks like if I took this, which is my fold, and put the controller on the side. That's what it looked like.
Mm.
I was like, okay, no. It sounds dumb. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't know what you guys missed. Sorry, I'm so late. I'm so sorry.
Oh no,
But I don't
you're
know how
fine.
much you guys have done so far.
I mean, I was just about to say, like, anything that stuck out to you for the showcase. I literally have, I think, every announcement that they did about the showcase in the doc. So if there's anything you want to talk about, then we could definitely go through it.
I'll be honest. The only thing that excited me was the Spider-Man game, and I was really at the very end. I was like, wait a minute. Now I know Sony is at least gonna give us Spider-Man. I was like, come on. When they did the Gran Turismo trailer, I was like, what's happening?
I was kind of shocked that they did that.
What's happening?
Because I was like, isn't this the same trailer that they put out on YouTube like last month? They put it in the showcase. I guess they really want people to go see that movie.
Yeah.
I forgot it was coming.
Listen, the only thing was funny for me, like that the Spider-Man thing is awesome. I mean, you know, I'm pretty. That's when we talked about it a million times. The thing that shocked me the most, which is crazy, is just how the controls looked.
Yeah.
What is? I was
The
like,
UI
this
was
is
really
so
different.
different.
Mhm.
So yeah, that was the main thing that like the gameplay looks cool, of course the Venom attacks and all that stuff, but just the look of it was just like, oh, they really changed. Like, I just knew it would be a continuation of what we've already like used to or whatever. So
Hmm.
that was interesting to see. I guess they're trying to utilize as many buttons as they can with all the
Yeah.
attacks and everything. Um, but I did think it was. I mean, I put it in the group chat by Xbox, posting like cover text. I was like,
Yep.
okay. I was like, all
Had to make
right, all was
sure.
petty. But
To be
yeah, I
Honestly,
mean,
fair, Sony does that after Xbox does all of their showcases too.
I guess I don't
mm,
notice. I guess Sony, I'll just, I don't know. I
yeah,
don't
they
know,
just had
See,
to
but
make sure. I was telling people in my chat before they started the official stream, I was saying like, PlayStation, if the showcase had gone off and like people loved it, it seems like people are okay with it so far. But if people had loved it, it definitely would have put them like in a much better position as far as like the console wars are concerned, because Microsoft has taken some big blows within the past few weeks, and then to have like a great PlayStation showcase on top of it, it would have been like, oh, for sure, like nobody's talking about Microsoft don't got no games, like nobody's buying their consoles, like it's over with. But now that
Oh, it's true.
the no but now
I think it's still gonna depend on how is that Starfield one gonna do.
I'm
Like
not
if
putting
that,
no stock in Starfield.
but
I
I'm
don't think
but
sorry.
anybody
Microsoft
cares
but
anymore.
Microsoft is.
Microsoft is. Well, the thing is,
And so if that
Microsoft.
falls on its face, I think
Redfall, like knocked them down.
Yeah, it
yeah.
did.
Like,
It
kinda,
did. I think
man.
like I don't know. Microsoft Starfield is definitely their big one for the year, but there's also other titles that they're working on that it's just like we're not getting any updates on. Like I was listening to a podcast, they were talking about Perfect Dark and Avowed and Hellblade 2 and Fable. No update on Fable in quite some time. So there's a bunch of different games that they could like surprise people with and kind of like shush the talks of like Microsoft has no games. But it's just I don't know if it's a marketing thing, they want to wait till Summer Game Fest, or if it's like they're just not ready to show anything. But it's I don't know, they're definitely kind of struggling a little bit. But I will say on the PlayStation side of things, I feel like just gaming in general, things have been pretty slow. So it's kind of crazy to me people be saying Microsoft had no games when PlayStation also hasn't really had like a big first party game come out in a little bit. So I'm like, come on guys. Let's be fair. Let's be fair.
I think it's because Xbox keeps pushing back their big thing like Starfield and
Yeah.
Redfall, and then Redfall came out like, ooh, all right, this what y'all doing over
Redfall.
there?
That's
This what y'all
pretty good too.
so it's like,
It was not. I played it. It was
Yeah.
not.
Yeah, I just crossed, I think, the 3 hour mark on Redfall because I was like, I played it for like an hour and a half just to like try it out, and I'm like, ooh, yeah, you need to play this with friends. So then I start playing it with my friend for a little bit, and like, this game definitely has potential, but it definitely, the way that it stands right now, it's a very okay game. A very like 4 or 5 out of 10 game. Like not something that I would not recommend anybody spend $70 on it. And I would not recommend anybody play it alone. And some people, that alone, not being able to play it by yourself, some people would say that that just makes it a bad game. But
yeah,
yeah.
I'll be one of those people that will say that. Yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
Not,
Microsoft
not,
has
not
definitely had
behind
it
you.
rough. I mean,
Yeah.
Overwatch was good. People like Overwatch. They're trying to work that out with Overwatch with the Activision Blizzard, but I don't know.
You
It's
know,
But are they gonna make it exclusive to Microsoft?
no, definitely not. At this
Yeah.
point, they're on they're trying to reach as many consumers as possible, and right now they know that people are just not getting as many Xbox consoles as they used to. So they're trying to give you as many chances to buy their products as possible.
I get it. I mean,
They gotta beat that appeal first.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, so I was listening to the Kind of Funny podcast, which I actually was going to bring up because they actually did like they returned to like some of the conversations that they had with Phil Spencer, which was like the big headline after Redfall dropped, and did not do well. Like Phil Spencer came out and said, like, great games is not going to be what saves Xbox. And then people kind of like misconstrued that and said, like, if you made great games, then Xbox would be good, blah, 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 all this other stuff. And it's like, that's not what he was saying. Because if you listen to the rest of the conversation, he's saying, like, we missed out on a very important generation, which was like the Xbox One, PS4, Nintendo Switch, Nintendo Switch still going, but and those were the 3 consoles that came out at the time. And he was saying we missed out on building up our digital database with that generation, and we also just made a lot of Xbox consumers unhappy with the decisions that were going on with the Xbox One console. So missing out on that generation put them behind by a lot. And Phil says at this point we can't play catch up. We have to look at other avenues to try and compete in the gaming market. So that's what he was saying. He wasn't saying that great games won't make Xbox successful. He was saying great games won't make you want to buy an Xbox if you already have a PlayStation or something. Like, if you're already in that ecosystem, it won't make you switch over,
Unless it's exclusive.
Disagree.
Yeah, exclusives are important.
Yeah.
But they don't be doing that exclusive thing, at least not as much as PlayStation does. And to that, to that, I can say definitely like having exclusives that would bring more people to Xbox, but it also has to be a great game, Like PlayStation, for the most part, all their exclusives have been really great games, like God of War, Hogwarts. Well, Hogwarts isn't an exclusive, but that was on the console as well. Spider-Man, Ghost of
It was in their
Tsushima.
state of plays, so they made it look like it was an exclusive.
Mhm. Right.
That was made it look like it was.
Go forever, bro.
Right. So it's like, Microsoft doesn't really do that because they are trying to reach like as many people as possible. So they try to, the game's going to be out on PlayStation, going to be out on Steam, sometimes going to be out on Switch. So not really being able to like tap into that, like it's just kind of rough for them right now. It's honestly kind of rough for them right now.
They cornered the first-person shooter market. That's what they do. That's why.
It's been rough for them, since Sony and Spider-Man. That's been a long time.
Okay.
I keep saying, that's what got me to get a PlayStation. I'll just be honest. Like, PS4 was not anywhere in my view. I was like, what? It's only on what system? Okay. Yeah, that was it. Like, for me. So that was it. So that worked for me.
Yeah, it got Trayvon, it got Juwan this year. It's getting people. It's tough right now because it's hard to compete with the IP that Sony has. That's why.
Right. True.
It's only Nintendo can truly compete IP like what?
Yeah, with their exclusives.
Don't have the hardware.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That hardware is it's had better days. It's had better days for sure. Tears of the Kingdom though, it's like it's kind of amazing that the game even runs. Like,
it
but
really does.
Well, that's because they're great at optimizing.
They really are.
Yeah.
Well, they said it took a year
Game
to
Freak.
optimize it. They say it was ready last year. And then said
Game
took a
Freak
whole other
is
year
just
to optimize
is bad
it.
at optimizing, so that's why.
Yeah, Game Freak and I think there was one other company that we bring up all
It's
the time.
them winning a game every year is the problem.
Oh, freaking Platinum. Platinum is also not very good at optimizing either. Hence Bayonetta.
I can't say a game every year because I feel like Xenoblade Chronicles comes out like every 6 months, and those games play great. So they do something. Every time Nintendo has something. I actually don't know.
Well, they came out with Xenoblade 3. I don't know when. Maybe last year, a couple years ago or something. No, it was probably last year. And then I think they've had a couple waves of DLC. So it's definitely, as far as Xenoblade content goes, and you just like seeing it over and over, I think that's what it is. Otherwise, I think Xenoblade is kind of similar to Persona, where like there's kind of gaps in between. But like we're seeing right now, there's Persona 5 content everywhere. It's coming out of your freaking ears. Like it's too much.
I feel like the past 4 years I've heard something Xenoblade. So you're probably right, because I just feel like every time Nintendo does something, it'll be close to the end. And it's like, oh yeah, don't forget new Xenoblade. It's
right.
Like, no, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Fire Emblem, there's like 1,000 of them.
Yeah, Fire Emblem. I don't know.
Them
It
two,
feels like
yeah.
they're ramping up. I don't know.
Never
I'm
played
not.
any of them.
They went from obscure
You
to
might
like
like.
super.
Actually, I don't know. The people in Three Houses are hot though. I recommend looking at them.
I don't know. I hear about all that. I hear about Xenoblade, Fire Emblem, Persona. I hear about these games all the time, but I was like, I've never even.
I call them all
Okay.
like the anime style games.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's
Style RPGs.
what they look like. Yeah.
I love them.
Yep, they're a lot of fun. It's you're putting in
bet
a
it's
lot
pretty
of
nice to play.
hours, but it's good. It's good hours. It's a good time.
The one that they showed today, that one looked interesting.
Grand Blue Fantasy Relink.
Oh, that
Was that
yeah,
that?
looked
There
good,
were a
yeah.
few different anime games that they had at the
No.
showcase.
That wasn't the one. Crap, what was the name of the
So what is the
Oh.
significance to the Metal Gear Solid thing that they did
What
today?
is the significance?
So,
Never played Metal Gear Solid.
You've never
Sorry.
played Metal Gear Solid?
Nope.
so the
The
significance
name,
is
the
pretty.
name of it. I told you I judge things by the name. I've learned to not do that now, but I
That's
used to
not
do
good,
that.
yeah.
So I hear Metal Gear Solid. I'm like, sounds military. Nah.
Oh.
military.
So it's
Not a
pretty
bad
much,
thing.
the announcement that they made today is just that they are remaking Metal Gear Solid 3, which a lot of people, or I'll say some people would say is the best Metal Gear game. And it's pretty much kind of, think of it not as it is kind of a war game, but I don't,
Okay.
like, when you say war game, what do you mean? What exactly does a war game mean to you?
Are you talking like
I
Call
mean-
of Duty?
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
no,
yeah.
it's not that. It's not that. It's
Nothing
not
like Call
that.
of Duty.
It's more
It's
like,
Rambo.
yeah, it's more like Rambo or like James
But stealth.
Bond, but
Stealth.
like
Yeah, James Bond
why?
meets Rambo.
Yeah. Like
Okay.
James Bond crawling around in the jungle, covered in camo, like trying to take people
stealth
out.
game.
Yeah.
But and what happened in Metal Gear Solid 3 was that you were able to like use face paint and shit to blend in with the background
Mhm.
and like get
wow.
mud and stuff like that. Because it got real. That's the first time you could actually like disguise yourself. And
Right.
shit. Instead of using a box like the first two games, you just get in a box, you know. But this one, like, you can change your face paint and all that stuff.
Right.
So remaking it would be really cool then.
Yeah.
the graphics, like, animated.
That-
It was jungle before, so
That
imagine
looks
now.
crazy. I'm kind of hoping that the snakes aren't that big, cause like I might have to put the game down. I don't know. That snake looked pretty big.
There's it's a jungle out there.
Yeah.
They're gonna I don't know if they're gonna have a fair snakes mode, like how they did in
Like the
Jedi
spiders,
Survivor.
right?
Yeah.
Oh God, probably
I
not.
think they had that in
Probably not.
Hogwarts Legacy too.
I feel like
because
that's
Yeah.
not a
they-
big enough phobia for people to be like, let's censor the snakes. Oh, but
Don't say that
also,
to Andy.
speaking
Spider-Man
of-
Hogwarts Legacy, good. Yeah, they did do it.
Oh.
since you, are you gonna say Didge?
I found the game. It was Tower of Fantasy.
Oh,
That's the one that was
Tower
really
Fantasy. I think has actually been out for a little bit.
interesting. Oh, really?
And I think maybe that was an update that they were showing off, because I definitely
gonna have
have
to
seen
look-
gameplay of it before. It's
gonna
kind
have
of
to look
like
it up.
Genshin, I believe. At least that's the impression that I get.
Impact.
But the one question I had, so it's called Metal Gear Solid. Is it Delta Snake Eater?
Now it's the new one is called
Yeah,
the new
one is-
I saw Delta, yeah.
Because I saw that and I was
Okay.
like, is that supposed to be an A? Is it a triangle? What is it?
For
Is it-
anybody that doesn't know, chronologically, it's the first game. Like
Mm.
technically, you know. 'cause
Well,
it
to be
takes-
fair, isn't that the third letter in the Greek alphabet? Isn't it Alpha, Beta, Delta?
Is it? Then if that's true, that's just dope.
I thought it was.
That's
I have no
clever.
idea.
I was in a fraternity. I should have known. I
That
should
sounds
know.
I was
I
not in a
wasn't.
fraternity, so I don't know.
Aside from Alpha and Omega, damn thing.
No, it's Delta's 4. It's Alpha, Beta, Gamma, Delta.
Oh.
Okay.
Well, I thought that was cool for a second. Until
Yeah.
And then it's,
So now it's like, what does that mean? What does that mean?
Yeah, now I'm back
Delta.
lost.
I've heard Delta Force. That's very militaristic call sign type thing. But so I don't know. I gotta look up what Delta really means. We can look into that. It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Before-
it's basically the origin story of Metal Gear Solid. That's
Right.
how everything starts.
It
Because you
is.
play as a
Oh,
big ball.
and I'm so glad
Yeah.
that they played a little bit of the music in the trailer as well. Because it's like,
Oh
yes,
yes, because that
yes.
felt so much like a James Bond intro. That
Yeah,
song.
it was so good. It was so
They
good.
play a lot on James Bond in that game too. You're right.
hmm But Trayvon, was there anything else from the showcase that looked remotely interesting to you at all? I know you're saying Spider-Man was really the big one for you.
That was awesome.
Look, I got real tricked by whatever that Destiny thing was. I was like,
Oh,
oh, what's this? This seems something cool. And then it was like Destiny. I was like,
yeah, the last
Have
season
really?
of
you?
Destiny, or the last update, the final shape.
You should check it out. You might actually like it.
Is there a story mode?
Yeah.
Yes, actually.
Oh, okay,
It's
okay.
a first-person shooter though.
I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, Did, if you know, but I think like they implemented something in Destiny where like new players can just get to the content that they want instead of having to play through everything.
Yeah. So depending on which, I guess at this point, which you would buy, they'll essentially take you all the way up to the start of that campaign. Now you can go back, I think, and still play the old campaigns, but yeah, there's a ton of story to it. There's a lot of powers and stuff, so I figured you might actually like it. You can almost fly, like you do like a whole like floating type thing. So
Mm.
Oh, yeah, it's Spider-Man. You saw how
I know
long
you
he
were
was
getting
gliding? You
Bro,
saw how long
they
he
were
was gliding?
flying.
I
They were
said,
flying in
oh
that.
my God.
Miles
I was watching
and
that
Peter
like-
were
Like
flying.
like in Fortnite, where you hit that wind.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then glide. It's like
Literally the
I
same.
was like, he
I'm
went
like,
through the
same
whole
shit.
city, bro. I was like, oh.
He was
I
flying.
And
was
you
like,
can go to Queens
yeah.
now, Trayvon. It's not just Manhattan.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was amazing.
That
so
was
excited.
interesting. I was like, oh, okay. We're
Oh,
flying
he's
now.
still gliding? Oh, he's still doing it. Oh my
Yep.
God. I was
Yep.
like, yes.
Gliding is dope. Gliding is really dope.
Yeah, I'm
Sorry, both
really.
of them had it too. They snuck it in with the other Spider-Man had it too, but
Yeah,
Both
yeah.
have it.
had it.
That's something that was
Yeah.
actually pretty interesting to me about that trailer is the fact that like moving through the city is such like a big thing for a lot of people that play the games. Like I know you're saying Trayvon, like you'll turn on the game just like swing around sometimes. So the fact that they added like another movement mechanic is pretty exciting, and I'm curious to see how it works. Even if that's the only one, could be more.
Hours and hours of gliding. Oh, I did like the thing where you could put a thing on the ceiling to walk across. Oh,
Yeah,
Yes.
that was
Oh
fun.
my
I love the
God.
takedown.
That was
I love doing
amazing.
that.
That was so
I'm having
good.
fun with that.
I
I'm
love
about
all
to
that
take
new
out-
Spidey.
I'll
tech
take
that
out
they got.
everybody that way.
Yes, yes. That
Oh,
was
yeah.
literally that would be how I finished most missions as Miles, because I never went back to play the first Spider-Man, but I should. But as
You
Miles,
definitely should.
yeah, I didn't have a PlayStation at the time, so I'm like I got the
Oh.
PlayStation for Persona and for Miles. So, there you go, the exclusives getting people again. But
Here you go.
as Miles, I would like go across. There was like ceiling fans sometimes. So I would hang people
Yeah.
up on each thing of the ceiling fan, and then I'd be out of room. And I'm like, dang, I can't reach them. But now that you have like a thing that can go across the room, the web, I'm like, oh, I'm taking everybody. Everybody gonna be hanging on the ceiling by the
Yep.
time it's over. So that's great for me personally.
Yeah,
I know.
I know. I can't think of anything else. I mean, I just felt tricked by Destiny. Metal Gear, I've heard things about it. I was like, oh, I bet everybody's excited to see that. I have no idea what this means, but I'm sure some people were excited to see that at
Oh, yeah.
least. I was kind of mad. I was like, where the hell's Wolverine? Like, not even nothing.
I wasn't
Even
really
more so
expecting
after
Wolverine,
the-
not gonna lie. Like, we hadn't
Really?
got an update on Spider-Man in a minute, so I'm like, we gotta talk about Spider-Man before we talk about Wolverine, because Spider-Man's coming out this year, so hopefully we'll hear about Wolverine before the end of the year, because I think it's coming out next year, right?
I think so, but I don't
mean,
even know anymore.
we don't
Heard
know.
anything.
Right,
That's the problem. It's been 2
We're still
years.
getting fall 2023 for Spider-Man right now.
Yeah,
That's ridiculous.
that.
Yeah, right.
I was like, huh,
Huh?
don't trust that.
Yeah,
I was
so
like, okay.
we'll see.
Indeed.
But yeah, I don't know how much of this general news we'll get to, but we'll try and talk about the most interesting things.
By the way, if you do want to play Destiny, it is free. A lot of it is free to play. I just looked it up, so we got that for you.
Okay, yeah.
I gotta, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot still got me right now. Like, I'm not lying. Like, I really love that game. Like, I really have a
Okay.
great time. So,
Cool.
yeah.
I didn't
The
know
flight
you
might
guys.
have something to do with it.
I definitely got to get back to that eventually. But
I need
So,
to. I need to try it out. I bought it a long time ago, and it's another one that hit the backlog, and it hasn't come back out since. So we'll have to boot that one up.
just got done fighting Boo, so
Nice.
Okay,
yeah.
okay,
So,
okay.
yeah.
But as far as like general gaming news goes, some of this somewhat recent, some of it not so recent. I tried to just collect news from the month since like we had a pretty slow past couple months, so like most of this stuff is like the stuff that y'all want to hear. Um, one of these things, I don't know, I kind of threw in here because I thought it was interesting, and it was the fact that Markiplier was directing and acting in a film for Iron Lung, which apparently was this horror game that came out. He's doing a film adaptation of it, and apparently, like, the filming is all wrapped up, and so he's gone back to making YouTube videos. So I'm kind of curious as to how that's gonna work out. I'm not the biggest horror movie person, but I might have to go see it just to support and just to see, like, how his transition from like YouTuber director slash like YouTube red director to film director went. His projects, from what I've seen with YouTube Red and like the shows he's had, they've actually been really good. So I'm hoping that the movie will have the same passion behind it. Are you guys interested in, or have you guys ever heard of Iron Lung? Because I definitely have never heard of this game.
Never heard of Iron Lung, but I heard of Markiplier recently, and sure, I'll watch him. And but yeah, just be honest, man. That's all. Look, I've heard of him. I've seen a couple clips. I'm like, sure,
Yeah.
I'll watch it. Whatever.
You haven't seen the memes?
Yeah,
There's
I
like,
mean,
yeah. The memes are good.
so yeah, so I was like, well, I'll watch it, and that's cool. Like to see him go from YouTuber to like full blown director. That's pretty cool.
Right.
So we'll
Feature
see.
film.
If that does well, I mean, maybe others will get the opportunity to do that.
Right.
So that's pretty much what happens there. So,
All right. Yeah. Like I feel like for sure, like I know you guys on the Geekset podcast definitely have like some content with talking about King Vader, and I think y'all also had an interview with him as well. And so I feel like if anybody, he would probably be the next one to try and come out with a feature. I don't know if he could do like the anime parodies. It would definitely have to be original. But
Yeah.
I think he'd be capable of doing it.
I think so too, especially with some of his most recent videos. He's definitely upped the cinematic quality of them. So seeing something like Markiplier being able to run from, like you said, YouTube to YouTube Red to being a feature director, it definitely opens doors that I hope it does well, so that way more people do get the opportunity and sort of get the chance to do something they'll basically build their career more. Like, those are huge goals for people.
All right.
Oh yeah.
100%. And then while we're on the line of, video game adaptations, we did talk about Gran Turismo a little bit. I don't think anybody has a real interest in that, so I'm gonna, just so people are aware,
I'm gonna see it.
You're gonna go see
You
it?
guys are. I'm not.
I don't think
What
I
is
will.
it about? What is it gonna be about?
I
I don't
think.
care. I just
Oh,
wanna
you didn't see the
my
trailer?
characters fight.
Some
That
influencers
didn't
are
tell
like
me anything.
were wrong to like do film and stuff for us. Oh, I'm watching it because of them.
I would just want to
Okay,
see
I'm
influenced.
characters
I'm
in the game.
influenced.
That's all I want to see.
I didn't remember
I mean,
characters
movie.
from the game. I'm not.
I remember them.
Oh,
I
they're-
played them all the time.
I didn't play Gran Turismo. Like I played it a couple times.
I played it on PSP, and that's about it.
Used to play it.
No, but
Just for me
Turismo, like,
personally, like, I can't think of any racing media that I watch besides F1, and I really just watch F1 when I'm getting ready to go to bed, even though I never sleep when I watch F1 because it's kind of exciting. But it's the drama aspect of it that I like, not so much the racing aspect. So
You weren't a Speed
drama?
Racer fan?
I did like
Speed
Speed
Racer
Racer,
was
but
good,
that was a
right?
while ago. That was a long time ago.
I'm not gonna lie. I did not like Speed Racer.
You didn't like Speed Racer?
No, I never
It
did.
was a little much for the time, but
Yeah.
I liked it. And it
See,
looked so good. It looked good.
When it came out, I was... What year was that it come out? I remember being
Speed
young.
Racer?
Yeah.
Oh, Speed Racer, the anime came out when my dad was a kid. So
Oh, I used to
Oh,
watch
not the
that
anime.
all the time.
Wait, were you talking about the anime or the live action movie?
I didn't like either. So I mean,
Oh,
I like the anime,
so
and I did like the.
I think I saw a
The
little bit of
movie.
the anime, but I was talking about the live action movie. I think it came out like
But
maybe 2009, 2010, somewhere around there.
that
So,
sounds about
Right.
you
right.
know, my quality for movies was definitely really low at the time. So I have to rewatch it to see. But like anytime I watch like a video essay where they just talk about it, they're like the art of Speed Racer, blah blah, what they're trying to achieve. I'm like, oh yeah, it was kind of cool. So I will have
it
to
was
revisit it at some point.
different. Wasn't
Yeah.
Wacky
exactly like
Races
what
was
I
was
remember,
a
but I like
that's the best racing medium for me. Wacky Races.
Wacky Race. Well, that was good too, though. I like
Wacky Races was amazing.
Yeah. Pod racing in Star Wars. That was as close as I'm gonna get.
Yeah.
That was also good.
Yeah,
To
that's probably closest for me too.
Wacky Races though.
I agree
Um,
with the wacky.
and then we also have, and this is kind of crazy how much like video game like adaptation slash like show movie stuff is coming out now. But Five Nights at Freddy's movie trailer dropped, starring Josh Hutcherson. I'm happy to see him because I feel like it's been since the Hunger Games since I've seen him in anything. Even though I think he's been in other things, but I feel like he'll do well in this role. And this is another one where I'm like, Five Nights at Freddy's kind of scares me. So will I go see it in theaters?
Better.
I want to support, but I
Support the
don't
menu.
know.
Support the menu.
I have to go with my eyes closed. I don't know. But yeah.
I never played the game, so I'm looking forward to seeing what
I
it's all
played the first game for maybe 20 minutes, and I'm like, you know what? This is enough trauma for the night. I think I'm done.
I'm curious.
I'm definitely
very
gonna
curious.
I'm definitely gonna go see it.
I watch other people play though. It's good.
Oh yeah, they unveiled the didn't they announce another game too today?
Yeah,
We
they
didn't talk
did.
about
FNAF, Help Wanted 2, which I'm trying to remember what was Help Wanted 1. Was that Security Breach or was that something different? I don't know. But yeah, they did announce another one. Let me see. I tried to write down release
Wait,
dates.
I thought it
but-
was a Five Nights at Freddy's game too. Was that just a trailer for the movie again today?
Yeah,
Did
no,
say
they did another
that.
game.
No, that's what it's called. Help Wanted.
Yeah, it's
Oh, the
coming later
game.
this year.
Oh,
The trailer
oh.
said.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens with that. FNAF is like, I don't know. It felt like there was so many games within a short period, and then it kind of went quiet. But now it's kind of with like these much longer, like more content filled games. So I'm curious. Definitely, I am a fan. Question mark? I don't know. It still scares me. So I won't personally play the games, but I will watch somebody else play the game. Then we also
Oh.
have. Oh yeah.
Quick question. Yeah. So, what did you think of the Resident Evil 4 VR mode?
I
What
was
did you think
not
of that?
at all surprised by that. It kind of made me laugh a little bit because I think Resident Evil 4 has been released to VR at least 3 times now. So it was
Okay.
it was kind of funny, but I feel like, it made sense because they did it for the original on, I think it was Oculus, and then on PlayStation, or maybe it was reversed, and then now they're doing the remake, which I think they talked about at a Capcom event at some point. They're gonna bring the remake to VR, so it makes sense. It definitely, I feel like it's gonna make the game way more scary. Because the beginning of the game, in my opinion, it felt like the scariest, and then after that, it was action heavy, which I did not mind. I did not mind at all. I enjoyed it. There's still some scary moments. Freaking bugs. I hate bugs in games, y'all. Let's not have bugs in games anymore. Let's have a petition for that.
That's why they have
But-
so many of them, because people hate them.
Right.
Kill
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I would definitely was not surprised by that, Trayvon. I thought it made sense, and it was another title that they definitely needed for the PSVR 2. So it made sense. It made sense.
And then selling it because
Yeah. Yeah, it's rough.
just as the system, right, or more. Yeah.
Mm.
I'll let you know.
Yep. But yeah, speaking of VR, we also have the MetaQuest Gaming Showcase, which is gonna happen June 1st.
Oh.
I don't know if I'm gonna watch that. I might just check out some trailers or something afterwards. I'm not that involved with this. I don't know. I watched the
I'm gonna ask
first.
you guys to keep me updated.
I watched the first like VR showcase they did, and it was all about let's bring your office everywhere. And I'm like, hell no, let's not. So yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, it was
Exactly.
rough.
I think I saw like they were like making like avatars of you or something, and it didn't even
Yeah,
look
Yeah,
right.
see,
and then it was faked or something in the footage, which
Yeah.
was it was a mess. It was a mess. But I'm glad that they got the point that nobody was tuning into that for work. They wanted to know about gaming. So now they're
Right.
like, okay, it's gonna be
right.
exclusively gaming this time around. And you know, I think did Beat Saber come out on the Oculus first, or was it something
I think
else?
so. Long time
So
ago, yeah. Like the
yeah,
first
so I'm saying,
one.
like, you know, they do have good VR titles and they have more that they could acquire. Nobody wants to pick up Half-Life Alyx for some reason. So if they could get that, that would be pretty big. Um so yeah, I mean there's potential, but ultimately I'm not going to be trying to keep up with that one. I'll see it as it comes out.
And not the Spider-Man one, I'll be there. But that's what Sony needs to work on. I don't
See,
understand.
that somebody was saying what game was it?
I
I
was gonna throw up.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, that would probably make me vomit playing Spider-Man in VR.
Yeah, Iron Man.
It would be
VR.
cool, but I would feel sick. I would feel horrible.
They would
Until
get
you're
me
flipping
highly
open-
considering that thing if they did it. I was just there. I was like, I know this is where I'm
Fair.
only gonna get it. This is it. This is the only place I'm gonna get it. So,
Fair.
He's upside down a lot. You're like,
Right, that's what
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
saying.
you couldn't do
I
that.
don't know.
We'll see. We'll see. But then I also had on the list, just in case people were not aware about what's going on with the Activision Blizzard situation. The deal was blocked in the UK by the CMA. I forget what it stands for, but it's pretty much just like their financial people. They said no to the deal, but pretty much everywhere else in the world, outside of I think the US, which is still the FTC is still trying to figure
Yeah, I
out what they want to
I think
say.
their trial is
been a long time.
later this year. Yeah, I thought it was like end of the year.
But China approved it, the EU approved it. It seems like the US will eventually falter and approve it as well. So the big question now is whether they want to take the time and wait this appeal out and try and get business in the UK, or just exclude the UK from the deals and stuff. Which that'll be interesting. That'll be interesting to see. I hope not for the UK gamers, but at this point, it's an option that's on the table. So we'll see what happens
Well,
with that.
I was reading an article about that, and I guess outside of gaming, Microsoft does a ton of business in the UK. So they might that's gonna also potentially put a hold on it, because what kind of retaliation could it potentially be if they say, well, no, okay, you're not gonna get our gaming segment? Then a lot of UK either businesses or even the government itself, they made you like, all right, cool, all of this other stuff we don't want anymore then. And Microsoft's still in the business of making money, so are they willing to really want to be like, for this segment we're gonna potentially ruin a bunch of other business deals? I mean, just fight the appeal.
I mean,
Yeah,
what are they forcing? I mean, I know this has nothing to do with gaming, but they're forcing Apple to put a USB-C port or the iPhone. Was like, well,
You're
you know, if they have the power to make Apple do that,
Well,
I was like,
that's the EU. That's the EU though. That's not even just the UK. Like that's almost all of Europe.
So that's why I'm like, because you know they have all of Europe, like they're agreeing, like yeah, let's go through this deal. China's like yeah, let's go through this deal. And it's like just the UK, which is, you know, it covers less land. I don't know what the population of the UK is compared to the EU. I assume the EU has much more people. So it's like, are they willing to just like cut that part of the market off for like the greater profits that they could see? Or is it better to just wait this out? I'm assuming they will wait it out for a little bit and hope that like maybe they can talk with somebody and see if they can get this deal pushed through. But I have been hearing talks that
they're hoping it'll convince them. I'm sure they're like, U.S. approved, so you guys should too. Come on.
Yeah.
You know.
Those appeals are like super hard to get, like especially those UK ones. Bro, whatever this CMA group is, I guess when they get a decision, it's super hard to overturn.
Yep, that's what I've heard as well from different sources and whatnot. So I don't know. It's a weird situation. And as far as like from what I've heard, I actually talked to like an Activision Blizzard recruiter like not too long ago, and just like from what I've heard online, like online sentiments, like they do Activision Blizzard does want that deal to go through. And as far as like the working conditions and stuff that would be like influence, like they do want that merger to go through so that like it can make everybody's lives better, and hopefully like kick Bobby Kotick out finally. I don't know why that hasn't been done, but yeah, it just feels like we're kind of trying to prevent the inevitable in a way. um but yeah, I don't know. It's definitely not gonna we're not gonna stop talking about this anytime soon, unfortunately. So
No.
If it doesn't go through, though, I feel like it'll be some really bad like repercussions if it don't go through. Like everybody will suffer. I feel like either way, somebody getting fired. But it's like that's the sucky part about it. Like the merger happens, somebody get laid off. It
yeah.
don't happen, somebody get laid off. So it's like,
You know, I actually, when Redfall dropped and it like wasn't doing so well, and then they were talking about the merger and how like that got blocked by the UK pretty much at the same time. There were some people saying like, Phil Spencer could be on his way out. Like if something else, probably Starfield, goes bad. And I kind of would hate to see that happen because I really like Phil Spencer and what he's done for the Xbox community, and like try to turn things around after the Xbox One was just seemed so backwards. So I would really hate for Phil to be kicked out because of literally some BS. Like things that are just like kind of out of his control.
yeah.
But yeah, hopefully he's not the one.
Blame on one person if they can. He
Yeah.
did it. Get him out.
Yep. But then we also have the Switch 2 is not coming until 2024 at the earliest. Um, Doug Bowser said in a investors call, like, we're not even looking at Switch 2 right now. Like the Switch is still selling well, and I'm sure after the Tears of the Kingdom sold like 10 million copies in like the first week or 2 weeks or something like that, they're probably also selling systems with that. So Switch is probably still selling well.
I
So
wanted to cry seeing that news.
yeah, we all did.
So it's like nothing's gonna happen. Long Mario Kart 8 keeps selling.
Yeah, it's
As long as it's still in the top 10 every time, it's the problem. Like,
just pull a Rockstar.
Have it by now.
Put it on the next one. Put it on the next one. People will still buy it. Like,
I want to buy one so badly, but I know my. He says this, and then I'm gonna buy it, and he's gonna be like, yeah, I was lying. Switch 2 next week. Like,
yep. I would just wait it out at this point, honestly, if I were you. I would wait it out, or if you really need
so many games I want to play.
if you really need to, like, I would look into getting a Steam Deck, and then you find out how to play some games somehow, some way. Not talking specifically what games, but you figure some things out on there, or even just on your PC. To be honest, I don't know how
That's
Nintendo
true.
be messing up with this, but it's just it's out there at that point. I'm not trying to pull a Kotaku and just say like, yeah, you should do this and here's how. But I'm saying that is an option for people that do not want to get the Switch. That's all I'm saying. But I bought my copy of Tears of the Kingdom for the Switch, Nintendo. I did do that. I'm supporting. Yes.
And plus, we don't vouch for that stuff. Buy your game. Support.
We don't. Buy your games.
Sure.
Buy your games.
Yeah.
Support the devs. Support the people that made it. But speaking of the Steam Deck, the Asus ROG Ally is coming. I think it's priced at like $699. Is that for the base model or for like the extra juiced up one?
$5.99 for the base.
Yeah, I think it's the string one. This price you just said.
Okay. Got you.
It's out now, by the way.
Oh, okay. Well, it's out now, everybody.
I think. Wait, maybe.
That's fully Windows.
Let me double check, because I know they had the event but I feel like the event was like pre-order now and it'll come
Yeah,
out
It's
soon
on
kind
Best
of
Buy's
thing.
website, I think, right?
Let's
I
see.
thought it said pre-ordered and it'd be out in 2 weeks. That's why I just assumed it was out, but I could be wrong. Now I'm second guessing myself.
So you can, it says pre-order. So as of recording,
Okay.
it's not out now.
Okay.
Yeah, the 699 is for the big boy with the extra or extreme processor and all that. The 599 one is the base console.
Which
Yeah.
looks like it's sold out. The base one is.
Yeah, yeah. It is reviewers from what I've heard, they're liking what they're seeing. I know Digital Foundry, I think they were using the base model and they found like some issues, but those issues, what the heck? I think Siri was talking to me across the room. That was weird.
Does it?
I was about to leave this. I was about to leave this. I don't know. I'm not about to watch my. I'm not about to watch one of my friends get taken out over a street.
Dang, you could have called for help or something. You're just gonna leave like, no, I'm
I
not
didn't.
trying to witness
I
that.
did that too, but I definitely was like, oh no.
Oh, good to know. I did not know you was gonna be like that. Um, um, next one I have on the list. Hollow Knight Silk Song was unfortunately delayed, past June 2023. And the devs gave actually a pretty good reason for delaying it. They just like the game has grown so much that we want to continue to refine it so that way make sure all the players have a great experience. And if you know the Hollow Knight devs, like they want to put in the time to give you a quality product. Hence why Hollow Knight is like such a beloved and critically acclaimed game that I have yet to play. But I bought it. See, I be buying so many games. It's my freaking backlog, man. And Tears of the Kingdom. Tears of the Kingdom is draining my life right
Not
now.
helping anybody.
Yeah, it's not helping. Then we also have Mortal Kombat 1 gave us some good news. Or I should say, nobody knew it was Mortal Kombat 1 until they did the announcement. It is going to be Mortal Kombat 1. They are doing a universe reset with its I believe it was Liu Kang that became the fire god. And he
Yes.
created his own universe. I really want to know more about this. I really want to know more because like everybody seems so young. Even Raiden, which is like, famously old dude, long gray beard, like that kind of aesthetic, but it didn't seem like he had that in this. So I don't know. I'm very interested to
No, we're
see.
not.
Even though I'm not a big Mortal Kombat person. I'm definitely more of a Street Fighter person and slightly Tekken. I will play Mortal Kombat though, but I don't know. This was
Yeah.
interesting.
They have the best fighting game narrative, honestly. If you start like
For sure.
they start really making the sense of it, like from Mortal Kombat 9 to now, like well, I guess 12. I mean 11. That's where they explain it really thoroughly, like because this is technically the third new timeline. The second timeline starts with
Oh,
9, and they explain what happens. You know what I mean? So
okay.
it's very interesting. Like the 11 was really really good, and 10 was good too. And I'm very excited for this trailer. Was amazing. Like it looked great. I'm very excited for the new storyline and what they're gonna tell us because obviously our knowledge of Mortal Kombat is different than what it once was because growing up with it, we all know more or less what Mortal Kombat is. So this is kind of gonna turn it on its face. So like things might not be exactly as we know it. So I'm very excited to see what all that is because there's a lot of questions coming out of that trailer.
Yes, yes,
Hey,
yeah.
so okay, so for me, like I have fun playing like these fighting games and stuff with friends, but to me, it's not really fun playing it by yourself. So
Hmm.
does any of these games have like some kind of story mode other than you just walking around like, oh, here's another fight, oh, here's another fight? Like I just don't.
Mortal
Mm,
Kombat for sure
yeah.
has a
Mortal Kombat does,
story.
yeah. They all
Okay.
have story.
It seems like
Like
Street
Mortal
Fighter's gonna
Kombat
have,
stories,
yeah.
Yeah,
right?
Street
Yeah.
Fighter 6 has a if you can actually download the demo now. But you pretty much go through like their story mode and it's pretty much like you meet Luke, who is the newest character to the franchise, and he kind of acts as your trainer. You're a newbie. So you go out there on the streets, you beat up a few people, which is kind of funny. And then you start meeting the other champions of Street Fighter. And I don't really know where the narrative goes past that because that's where the demo ends. But it seems like you're like the newbie, you're trying to learn all this stuff. There might be a tournament at the end, but the even that, the story is kind of loose. But there is a story mode to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Tekken too. Tekken has a deep story too. If you want
Yeah.
to play Tekken, but
The Mishima
I
family
think
is crazy.
Mortal Kombat. They are nuts.
gonna try it.
And it's deep shit.
Mhm.
I like the
Mortal
I love
Kombat does the best.
what they're trying to do with Injustice, and I was just like,
Mhm.
Well, that's the same people
no,
too.
that's just not fun.
Injustice. That's why.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's why, in my opinion, that's why it's so good because they did such a good job on Injustice. They know how to do good storytelling and fighting, putting it together.
Mhm. Yeah, so definitely, I think they already confirmed that they will be at Summer Games Fest, and they'll have more details on Mortal Kombat 1. So,
Gameplay. We're gonna get gameplay.
yeah. So we'll have to keep an eye out for that.
You kept
I mean-
that under wraps.
They did. They
Like,
did a good job.
For them to be able to announce and already in like a couple weeks after, like, yeah, we're ready for gameplay, that means they've been developing and getting it ready for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's ready.
They've been holding on to it. But something else to look out for, and I don't think that they will be showing this off anytime soon at any like previews or anything like that, or game showcases. But Mouse is this game that it's kind of funny because like the first time I saw it was on LinkedIn. One of my friends liked it on LinkedIn. But it's pretty much like if you imagine like Disney's Steamboat Willie, except with the gun. That's what the game is. It's very like 19 like I think 70s or 80s animation style with like Tommy guns and all this ridiculous stuff. And you can kind of see like the tech demo that they put out. It's like the video. And that's pretty interesting. I don't think it'll be coming out anytime soon though, because it did look like pretty bare bones. Like even the environment is just like kind of a skybox that you're just running around in. But that's something to look forward to. Something not to look forward to is Overwatch 2 PvE was canceled. That's the news we got relatively recently here as of time recording. And for me, this doesn't hurt so much since I'm like not super involved with the Overwatch community and like the stories and stuff. But I know the community is hurting super bad because they love the characters and like the story that they're trying to build with them, and to see that like the PvE is not coming to fruition, they won't have that story mode that they're wanting, is pretty sad. And then, Moist Critical, he also made a video saying like, what is the point of Overwatch 2 then? Like why the 2? We were making Overwatch 2 for PvE to have that mode, and now we don't have it. And we pretty much have Overwatch 1. Like you didn't even make a sequel really. Which kind of fair, a little bit.
That's fair. Yeah.
So that was.
I have no response to that.
When I saw that it was Overwatch 2, I was confused anyway. I was like, what? I was like, wait a minute. I was like, where's the other one?
Yeah.
But
see, the weird thing and unfortunate thing about it is when they updated the game from 1 to 2, you can no longer go back to 1. 1 technically doesn't exist
They
anymore.
shut down the servers.
Yeah, so it's
maybe it was the microtransactions that they wanted. Were better.
Maybe.
I mean, they had those in 1 though. It wasn't like they were. It wasn't like you're like, oh, this is a new thing with microtransactions.
But I feel like, so many people, including myself, I never bought anything. I usually don't participate in microtransactions anyway, but I never felt the need to participate because they had the loot boxes. I'm like, oh, if I play enough, I'll be able to get some skins and stuff if I want skins. But now, like, that's non-existent at this point.
Fair.
Fortnite said, here, buy everything. Here's a new character every week.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Even like, they have free events where you can get skins for free. I got freaking Aaron Yeager for free. So, yeah, Fortnite's definitely doing it better, in my opinion, for right now.
They've been around a while, too, now. Now think about it. Fortnite. Like, everybody shook. Wait a minute. They're still here?
Yeah, remember, they even switched and had their Fortnite Chapter 2. Which, it's almost exactly what Overwatch 2 is turning into, except they didn't shut down old servers. They just said, all right, in the same game, hey, this is now era. Like, that was probably the route that Overwatch should have did.
Yeah, probably. But
Definitely should have
yeah.
promised something that they weren't gonna give. Like, especially if it was a big thing. I feel like that was that kind of. I feel like now any game that they come out, whoever makes that game, that'll haunt them forever. like, like we don't trust anything you're saying. Like no matter what they say going forward.
Yeah, they definitely need to get that trust back. I mean, if there even is like, I don't know, how could you be satisfied after that? Because they just said like this is not something we're going to be able to accomplish, and that's literally what the fans wanted. That was the only thing that they asked for. So
Yeah.
I don't know. That was rough. But something to be excited for that I should have grouped with the other thing that was exciting, but I didn't realize what was going on with this list. I made this last minute. The Pokemon development team Game Freak is partnering with Take-Two Interactive's private division, which has created the Outer Worlds, Ollie World, Roller Drome, and Hades. Or excuse me, they Take-Two Interactive's private division published these games. They are revealing a new action adventure project, Project Bloom. This was reported by Polygon. And one of the big things that I thought was interesting was like this is a collaboration between a Japanese developer and a Western developer, and they said it was like one of the first to do this kind of collaboration. So I'm kind of curious as to what comes out of it. And Game Freak, recently with Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, tech issues aside, people really like that Pokemon game. And they really like the direction that the game was going for as far as Pokemon is concerned. So I'm kind of curious to see what Project Bloom has going on
You
for it.
said Take Two,
Yes.
right? Is that? That's not. No, that's never mind. Never mind. I'm thinking of.
It's not GTA, it's different.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I was actually thinking about Midnight Suns, honestly, but I think that's a different
Oh.
studio.
That was Firaxis, something like that.
Yeah, Firaxis. It might have been. They might have been under Take-Two. I'm not sure.
I don't remember. And I played it, so I don't fucking remember either.
I can look it up real quick. Like, what are some of the other games? Obviously, Take Two. They're over. They are over Rockstar. Take Two Interactive in general,
Mm-hmm.
but they also are over 2K. It's like that. I think that's the parent company of those two.
Mm.
So,
One.
like,
Oh yeah, go ahead, dude.
oh, go ahead. Oh no, I was just gonna say I don't. I'm just looking to see what other games that maybe Trayvon may know other than GTA. Maybe.
Midnight Suns is the game that I had thoughts in my head, and I got
Oh, okay.
Maybe
I don't
Midnight
see that
Suns
at
was
all.
2K actually.
It is, but see, when you
I
said I didn't, I just looked it up. I was like, oh, okay. I had like terrible flashes of that game.
It was good. I liked it.
But one thing that interested me about Project Bloom from Polygon's reporting is they were saying the concept art was made by Cosma Coda, who's worked on Nier Automata, Bayonetta, Let's Go Pikachu, and Fire Emblem Three Houses. So at the very least, he's gonna make some very attractive characters for this game. And if I don't play it, at least I'll have that. At least I'll have that in the fan art that comes from it.
That's fair.
And then the last little thing I had was that Eiji Aonuma confirmed that the Breath of the Wild style of gameplay is here to stay. So from what I've interpreted this as, and I think he did say this later in the article, was that they're gonna focus on player freedom. So for me, that's like no more puzzles that only have one solution. Like you can approach the problem many different ways, and if you're able to make it work, then that works for the game. And I'm kind of yeah, it is interesting. I'm kind of excited to see like what that is because I doubt that the next Zelda entry will be open world again. Because at that point, it's just like I don't know. There are a lot of Zelda fans that don't like that kind of formula, so I don't know. It just makes me curious as to like what they're planning next for the series.
Oh man.
Yeah. Was there anything that you guys heard that you wanted to talk about before we close out?
No, I think we hit most of the stuff that I had saw.
No, I mean I like what you just said about the way that the gameplay is done in Tears of the Kingdom, because I have heard of just people solving it whatever way they want it,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, that's definitely a frustrating point with some of these games. I admit, listen, I love Hogwarts Legacy, damn, love it down, but there were times where I was like, I do not know how the hell to get through this part. I
Yeah,
will
sometimes
admit,
that is annoying. Same thing
yeah,
in Star Wars. That that's
yeah,
what I
Oh
realized.
my
yeah,
God,
Oh,
there
yeah,
are so many
yeah.
points that made me
so
so mad.
stubborn. Like,
Yeah,
So it would be
how you
fun
use
to
the press
figure it
press
out.
down for
Yeah.
the hint, and
Yeah.
oh, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I'm like, I forget about that. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I'm sitting there like
I
looking
mean the hints
around.
sometimes aren't great, so it doesn't matter.
No,
No,
they're
no.
not.
Oh, we
Like
need to try to
the
get up there.
fucking
I'm like, okay, how am I supposed to do that?
how? Yeah,
What do you mean?
what
Think I
fucked
don't
me
know
up
that
was
part?
the thing with the I forgot the purple stuff that you shoot from the robot.
Oh
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
That was fucking annoying. You know, if it wasn't for the fact that I looked up what the word was, whatever it was called, that's the only reason I found out how to use it. I was like, oh, they don't
yeah.
explain
Some of
it.
them don't explain. Yeah.
Oh, that game.
Have you
Yeah.
noticed? Oh, I'm about to say one more thing. Like, so while you were playing the Spider-Man game, the clip they showed today, I do like how like when Miles was going through, like, oh yeah, maybe he's in there. Like, I like that it just does that, and you don't have to like hit a button to get a hit.
hit a button
Miles
in
is
order
just
to.
like,
Mm.
hey,
Right.
maybe he's in there. Maybe it's up there. Like, do that. Like, that's
I like
fine.
that.
Like,
Yeah.
See,
yeah.
for me,
Don't
I'm
make
like,
it
I
too difficult.
like those kind of things where it's like after a minute, they're like, oh, maybe the player needs like a little bit of guidance, but I don't want to immediately be like, you show up to a place, you should look in the corner. It's like, I didn't even get to look. Like, hold on a second.
Yeah, let me
Um,
look first.
yeah, like that definitely happened quite a bit in God of War Ragnarok. For some reason, that was just like the way the game defaulted. Like they would just pretty much tell you the hint to the how to solve the puzzle like almost right away. And I'm I could have done it. I could have figured it out.
We
Um,
figured it out
You sure that
eventually.
doesn't depend on like what difficulty you had it on? 'Cause I felt like when I did have it on the easiest mode, they didn't do that for me. And then when I had it on the easiest mode, when I got my ass kicked enough, I changed it. I changed the
see,
difficulty. And then I was like, yeah, no.
I played it on normal, either that or like the
Hey,
second hardest,
But
probably
the
normal.
normal,
But
yeah,
I feel like
I do normal.
you see a bunch of articles and stuff that are saying the same thing as far as just like the hints from God of War Ragnarok were a little bit too quick to come. So it's a thing that happened kind of across the board. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm definitely like open to like having like hints if it feels like you're taking a while and you don't have any kind of direction, but let people try first. Let people try. Or if nobody
Yeah.
wants
I'm
to solve a puzzle,
50-50.
have like a mode where you're just like, yeah, give me the solution, give me the solution, give me the solution. Because I think
Well,
they
you
did
have the
that
option.
for,
Yeah.
yeah, give them
Mhm.
options, give them options. Because I think they
Yeah.
did that in
Because
Gotham
how it
Knights.
works. Oh, Gotham Knights too. Yes, Gotham Knights. That wasn't super hard, so that was not bad. Hogwarts Legacy. Sometimes, like if you were lost, you just press up, and that thing will show you how to get there. So I'm like, oh, this is great. Sometimes, like it'll help you a lot, but fucking Star Wars, I swear to God, no help.
Well, I guess I have something to look forward to there
Yeah.
when I finally get around to it.
I got stuck a couple times. Where I'm like, nothing. Give me a hint. Nothing.
I was
Yeah, just
kind of,
me. I'll just jump off cliffs and shit. Like, well, let me see. Maybe I was
It's
about
all
to jump over
it's
here.
trial and
I-
error with that game.
Yeah.
That's it.
I did that so many times.
Yeah.
Yeah, like what do I do next? Right now I was doing something with like a wind tunnel, and I'm like, all right, now how the what? I by accident I got across. That's how I did it.
mhm. I was doing a puzzle in Fallen Order, and I was kind of like stumped a little bit. I'm like, what am I doing? What am I supposed to be doing? So yeah, they're definitely testing people with those games.
They sure do, and it's very it's open but also very linear, so you can only do certain things.
Right.
You can't. It's not that open world. You know what I mean?
Right,
So,
right. Alrighty then. Well, I think that will do it for this podcast. I appreciate y'all coming through talking about the PlayStation Showcase and all the miscellaneous news and rumors and whatnot. Let's start with you, Trayvon. Where can people find you on the internet if they want to follow you?
Nerd with the tech everywhere. I mean, follow channel risk. I don't know. Yeah. That's it.
All right. What about you, Joel?
Joel _ J27 on Twitter. Yeah, I'm not really anywhere else aside from Facebook. That's just my name. Not with it. Yeah.
All right. And Didge, where can people find you on the podcast?
You can find me at Didge it's DIDGE_DEE on everywhere. Really, just I say everywhere, and I mean Twitter and Instagram.
Wait,
You can find the podcast.
I forgot.
Yeah, I always say you can find me everywhere, and I really just mean those two places.
Same.
But you can also find the podcast at Gamechat Podcast. Also, same locations and on YouTube.
Nice.
I have the same username on Instagram, by the way, so if you're curious. Twitter and Instagram.
No TikToks?
No TikTok.
I'm also the same on TikTok. I forgot. Yeah, but
there you go.
I haven't posted anything I think since like October. So I mean, if you want to watch like 6 videos I put up,
I got videos running right now.
And I have a 1 underscore at the end of my name
Nice.
because my name is already took by somebody. I will find
Ooh. All right. Well, you better watch out. If you listen to the
Watch your
podcast,
back, man.
watch out. Trayvon is not to be messed with, man. We've seen him make things happen. It's just give him the username. Give him the username if you value your life. But yeah, I want to thank you guys again for coming, talking some games with me. I'm kind of shocked that this podcast happened, honestly. I feel like if the showcase hadn't happened, I'm like, we don't have to talk. I'll just play Tears in the Kingdom. It'll be fine. But I'm glad I'm glad we got together to talk, had some interesting things to discuss and, some more games to put on our radars. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed the podcast, make sure to like, subscribe. It is not currently on any podcast platforms, but maybe that will happen in the future. I don't know. If there's interest, let me know down in the comments. But yeah, also subscribe. If you want some more updates on when this podcast is coming out, I've also got Tears of the Kingdom episodes coming out on twice a week, and shorts of me freaking out at different things happening in the game. Yeah, thank you guys, and hope everybody has a nice evening or night. Whereas enjoy it. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Peace.